afternoon. How light that the shine with the sunny. There were those two people sitting near a large tree within the full of the green grass around. They named are Arik and Zeda rest each other on the grass on the sloping hill. The days passed. Zeda taught a lot on the top of the mountain. Hope is the golden light inside the mountain, like the solar experience of life. That is what it learns. The mountain peak also realizes that disappointment is just a shadow that reinforced the beautiful light of hope. Zeda teaches on Arik to see the beauty in every wound, to find meaning in every loss. No human being around there, only except two of them. Arik believes seeing the sky sunset is very warm. He saw the sky so bright. The sunset is like dimming slowly, reluctant, but surely the light is very soft and bright, like the solar. The color is orange or gold. It will be sunset. Facing the mountain at a high peak, there is a sunset behind, and there is full of cotton around the bottom like clouds in the sky. There is also a friend by Zeda who sometime wait with Arik enjoying while facing the current dusk scenery. He just came to Arik more than 2 hours ago, and they were in one room, just no one else around this. Smile and joyful when looking around this scenery, and bright is very beautiful as paintings blend with its beautiful nature. They are getting stuck on the space without this walls. The more sincere and laughing released understood one another, that he knew each other.
You like that sky?
Zeda said on Arik.
Yes, I feel like a memory of the sunset.
Arik was believed self with a smile that thinks about feeling the dusk at this time.
Of course. Did you ever see the dusk, Arik?
Zeda asked on Arik.
I never what mean.
Arik replied, often confused. Arik always makes behavior happen, never see the dusk, it just enjoys in the scenery, and he has never seen the dusk. Zeda did not know what happened to Arik, occurrence, so never as if was to see the dusk on Arik.
What time is it? I want to go home. Bye, Arik.
Zeda wants to go to the household on the hilltop. How Arik saw Zeda always wanted to go home only.
Yeah?
Arik said with loudly. Then the sunset is almost slowly sunk, so the sun will be completely replaced by night. Arik doesn't feel to see the sky is almost changing, and there is no sense of life on the dusk at this time. Then the sky will turn blue with full and out the spots of light, and the sunset is already sunk at this time to completely release dusk, and will return tomorrow to come. Arik surprised that he was already unsensed. Maybe he seemed to think about what did feel the dusk at this time. Then he wanted to go home. While Arik was resting back to the contest with the oldest mattress in the bedroom, he was lying on his back facing up and began to rest. There is a sound of something unknown between the new phenomenon that is the sound of smoke vapor. Arik shocked by looking left and waking up. He looked confused by what happened to the smoke. It's how smoke is lightweight gold, and the movement like aquariums being carried and air elemented. Arik couldn't move on the feet and hands. Then the smoke bring out emits light like the solar, how never that phenomenal occurrence. Suddenly there was a white human. She looked like a girl. Her body was tall, blonde hair, and her face doesn't exist only except her eyes covered with her shine golden line.
Huh? Who are you?
Arik was a little scared and thought of often unknown, as if in a girl like a human light with an astral scenario approaching Arik.
I am Meraic from the sunset. Do you know me from anywhere?
The sound of the figure is heavy, echoing without eyes open. No lips, only the air around him. Meraic has appeared near Arik and asked Arik.
Huh, is that your dusk?
Arik shocked and asked things happen to Meraic often appear. She's looked like the dusk.
Yes. Did you never seen the dusk?
Meraic asked.
Yes.
Arik replied calmly.
This, I'll get for you.
Meraic gives a reality dream for on Arik. Then he enters a natural scene with sunset rising. He may be this scenario of God with natural beauty, putting Arik in one space to enjoy himself.
We are the dusk human. Welcome to dusk.
They say by saying welcome on Arik.
Where am I?
Ask them.
We are in the lake around this. Do you want to follow with us?
Ask with friendly.
Of course.
Arik replied. Then Arik follows on them with a dusk human while walking towards the village. There are other humans while enjoying the lake with blue moss. And there are other humans gripping each other, and how sweet smile. Wind blows slowly, carrying the salty aroma of the lake, and a little nostalgic. In the distance, seagulls cross the horizon line, and the sunlight is like dimming slowly, reluctant but surely. Their footsteps leave traces in the gravel of sand, traces that may be lost when night coming. But for Arik, every step is a memory while enjoying. How bright in the sky sunset, like an abstract icon image. It becomes the natural beauty of the environment. So was in the dream. There is a friend in a dream named Zeda. With his friends always meet Arik.
Hi, Arik.
Greeted his son.
My name is Zeda.
Huh. Are you Zeda?
Arik looked surprised to see Zeda inside this dream.
Yes. Do you want to be with us?
Zeda invites in a friendly tone.
Of course.
Arik looked at him for a moment, then smiled slowly. The sky dreams above them change color, not blue or black, but golden orange at dusk at this time. Zeda reached out his hand, and when Arik touched him, they were both in a vast field full of floating stones and a gentle shining grass. There are also 4 others who are friends with Zeda. They introduced themselves to strange names: Tira, Sarah, Banil, and Rendi. Everyone smiled, as if they had been waiting on Arik for a long time.
Come on, we play hide and seek,
said Tira, wanting to play a hide and seek with the friends. Arik saw this village place. There was an abandoned wooden house standing in the middle of a vast garden, surrounded by lush trees and moist soil that smells moss.
You're it first, Arik.
Shouted Zeda, half brave, half wary. Arik closed his eyes and started counting, facing the walls of the house that were already full of moss.
1, 2, 3.
Footsteps ran across creaky floors. Doors groaned open and shut. Giggles echoed through the house. Everyone was hidden.
10. I'm looking for yes.
Arik starts looking for every corner of the house. He found Sarah behind curtains, Banil in the bottom mattress, Rendi under the stairs, and Tira in the kitchen storage cabinet. But Zeda hasn't met yet.
Zeda?
Shout Arik while opening the back door of the house. Dusk started to be almost dark, and a thin mist hanging over the ground. From a distance, there was a broken twig sound.
Must be in the garden.
He murmured. He ran a little towards the back garden of the house. His friends followed. Rain makes soil check, slippery and full of roots sticking. But as Arik stepped closer, suddenly Arik accidentally fell and said, Arik disappeared. The ground underneath suddenly collapsed, and he screamed slowly as his body fell into a gap in the ground with a dark 1 meter wide. Arik lands at the bottom of the hole full of soft stones and root moss. He tried to get up, but his ankle was sprained.
Friends, help me.
Shout Arik. His voice echoed upwards. No responses, only the sound of wind rotating inside the hole. Then, from the other side of the hole, a faint light appeared, not from above, but from inside the root ground. His body was injured, but not severe. He raised his head, His eyes adjusted to the dim light that seeped from the hole above. Around it is only ground and roots. But in the dark corner of the hole, he saw something. A child stood with their back turned to him, still, silent, clothes soaked and covered in mud.
Zeda?
Arik whispered. The child slowly turned around, but it wasn't Zeda's face. The face was pale, blank eyes, and his mouth hung open as if to scream. Arik scrambled backward in terror, and Zeda calmed down and said,
When did you ever see during that dusk?
asked Zeda slowly.
5 years ago.
Arik replied and calmed down.
Why can you fall underground?
Arik asked Zeda when there was an event saying why Zeda often fell underground. Well, Zeda did not answer. He looked down, then turned his back. However, Zeda disappeared, dissolved like mist, leaving behind a faint voice. It's not time to leave. Arik sits, his breathing heavy. Darkness surrounded him, with only the sound of dry leaves and an eerie hum filling the air. And the roots inside the ground are very old. Arik begins to panic and fear during the underground trap is very lonely. Then there was a light golden smoke figure, like a steam sound with a rotating motion. Arik looked surprised and calmly saw there was smoke near to Arik. Then there was Meraic again, from before giving a dream to Arik, and she saw happening to Arik, starting to fear and panic when trapped under the root ground.
Huh, Meraic?
Arik shouted. It was how Meraic has appeared in this dusk dream.
Yes, I have come here. And why are you trapped under the root ground?
Meraic asked on Arik, looking frightened and panicked during a trapped of underground root.
I'm not accidentally fell. If I wanted to begin looking Zeda anywhere, there was Zeda. But it seemed uncomfortable, this place, and why friends never helped me. Why?
Arik's tone of voice broke, like a whisper that sank in a dusk wind, and Arik asked Meraic, and he started to depression and calmed down slowly as the trap did.
Yes, of course. Zeda and the friends have not appeared here. It is probably morning, so you have to get out of this dusk dream.
Meraic replied on Arik that often happened to Zeda, and the friends is already not appeared, because this is already morning. Then they want to get out of this dusk dream, and so for Arik has to get out of the dusk dream at this time.
How to get out of this dream?
Arik replied to Meraic. He looked calm and slowly.
There's only one way.
Meraic said gently. He sat on the hardened ground and gestured.
Lie down. On your back. Rest your head on my lap. Trust me.
Without speaking, Arik began to move. It was difficult, the roots still clung to him, but somehow, with Meraic present, their grip weakened. With the last of his strength, Arik lay down. His head rested on Meraic's lap, warm, calm, grounding. Meraic leaned down and looked into Arik's fading eyes. He touched his forehead gently.
Close your eyes. Imagine the sky. Imagine the first rain. Imagine yourself sitting in your room, reading a comic, hearing your mother calling from the kitchen. And Zeda teaches many things on the top of the mountain, with any of dusk.
Arik exhaled, a long breath. His eyes closed. The roots around him began to fall apart, turning to ash, then drifting away like dusk dust. A bird called one last time, then silence. Then Meraic is disappeared. The dusk scenery in this world is disappeared, and this people around are disappeared all. Then a white light, the ticking of a wall clock, the chill of the floor. Arik opened his eyes. He was back, in the real world, in his bottom mattress. He sat up slowly, breathing hard, but he knew it had returned. No Meraic, no dusk scenery, no people from in the dream. But he knew it wasn't just a dream. It left a trace. It carried a message. The sky outside was still gray. Wind whispered through a half-open window. Arik sat on the edge of his mattress, staring at the floor. His heart still raced, but slowly it began to calm. He touched his temple. There was a faint warmth, like the sun's final light brushing against the skin.
I came back?
He murmured, but not completely, because when he closed his eyes once more, then he was somewhere else. Not his room, not the world he had just left. He was standing on a slanted mountain ridge, the soil dry but not dusty, and a gentle wind brushed his hair. In the distance, the sun was setting, casting orange light behind the peak of another mountain. The sky was silent, peaceful. Someone stood beside him. Zeda. His face looked ahead, not speaking yet, just gazing at the fading horizon. Arik stood still. He knew this wasn't real, but it felt more than real, like something he had been carrying deep inside for a long time. Zeda said with friendly,
You've ever seen that dusk, right?
Arik took a breath. He looked at the light as if memorizing every detail again. Then a faint smile.
I have ever.
Zeda turned to him.
You know, in dreams there are people around like to see dusk during in the lake.
Arik nodded slowly.
I know.
Then Zeda looked at him a little longer.
Tomorrow. Do you want to be here?
Arik answered without hesitation.
Yes, of course. Surely.
Nothing changed, nothing was promised, and nothing was feared. Only he knew would be able to remember back to the place on the sloping hill at this dusk. Only the sunset, the mountains, and a feeling that couldn't be explained that some places, even if not real, are home to a soul once lost. But it's just not the problem. Between the dusk is very, very beautiful.